Hello everybody, how's it going? Welcome to day one of Gamescom 2021. Today we're gonna be taking a look at the Xbox conference, and looks like this is about an hour and a half long. Now, Microsoft did come out and say that this conference is not gonna have any like new reveals, like, oh, here's like a brand new IP or something. It's all going to be about stuff they've already announced. And there are a ton of games that they've announced that we know very little on. Stuff like Perfect Dark, maybe Fable, more on Hellblade, you know, that sort of stuff. So apparently that's what we're going to see today. Let's go ahead and kill the music, and we're going to just jump right into this. So here we go. But, how's everybody in chat doing today? This would be Flight Sim. I'll probably have to adjust the volume as we go along. It's a really good game. I'm waiting for that Top Gun update.
Hello everyone, and welcome to our Gamescom 2021 Xbox stream.
We've got so many great game updates to share with you today. We're talking Age of Empires 4, Psychonauts 2, and my personal favorite, Microsoft Flight Simulator.
Later on, we'll take an extended look at Forza Horizon 5. There's so much going into this, and Playground Games' vision of Mexico is muy bonito.
And we'll be getting our first look at the cover car for the game, Paris.
How's the sound, guys? Are we good? I think we're good.
Will Kate win $5? I guess we're about to find out.
Yes, indeed. Our Xbox Plays team will also chat with devs and deep dive into current and upcoming games all week on twitch.tv.
I wonder if they're going to show any Halo. Although they might show Halo tomorrow.
And their upcoming zombie parkour sequel, Dying Light 2: Stay Human.
All right, let's see some more Dying Light 2.
Hello, I am Timon Smektawa, Dying Light 2 lead game designer, and this is David Lubryka.
And we are in a
animation
creepy
director.
room.
Hi. We can't wait until December 7th to finally give you Dying Light 2 Stay Human, the game we have been working on really hard for the last few years.
We're hoping the gameplay video you're about to watch will give you a foretaste of parkour and combat systems waiting for you in the game.
And we are just about to enter the city, fighting our way through its brutal and dangerous streets. Though, as you will see in a moment, there are plenty of things you can use to your advantage. So watch closely, look for special combat and parkour moves, and check out how with just a bit of creativity you can combine the two. Ready? Let's go.
Sometimes I wonder what this city looked like before all this. Probably like many others. People had their ambitions, plans, lives. Now it's all gone. The virus started it.
Anybody in chat excited for this
who
game?
made the world the way it is. This city, Villador. They tell me they had a vision. They had hope. But soon, one vision broke into many different ones. Instead of fighting together, people stood against each other. War broke out.
Was it a little bird met a broken leg?
Hope died. Now
Well, there goes your windmill.
Each time we strike down an enemy, we absorb.
I would say from a
their
visual standpoint, this is the best trailer
I
we've seen.
can't let that happen.
Nice. Move there.
At least, not yet. I need the secrets the city holds.
Fuck! Hey! Still some rats here!
I have to pick a side.
The Bazaar needs good people. You're doing great so far.
I have to make a difference.
Let's check and
I'm the
see.
Dr. Crowman. Might actually like outdo Mirror's Edge.
They say that great change is a series of small gestures. How about this series?
Huh. Ground pound.
Is all hope really gone? We'll see about that.
Well, that was an exciting trip, wasn't it, Timo? Did you notice those bandits in medieval-like armor passing by skyscrapers, banks, and large billboards? That's what we call a modern Dark Ages.
And it's a very unique design, one very important for the plot of Dying Light 2. But there's another thing that stood out to me, all those parkour moves that you and your team has put so much effort into.
Well, all you need is a few thousand of animations, cooperation with professional tracers, mock-up sessions, and invaluable help from David Bell.
Sounds about
whose
right.
face and moves player will see in the game, by the way.
No, yes, right. And we've got twice the number of parkour moves compared to the first game, and we are showing some of them in this trailer. The vault kicks being the most important to me personally. It brings a whole new fighting style into the game. The player can stagger an enemy and use them to perform further attacks, for example, by rebounding from their bodies.
Yeah, I think the
jumping of them
world and the
onto other
combat
foes,
in this
and
could be
so on.
like pretty cool.
I think we captured the movement really well and made it quite simple for the players to perform. I can't wait for them to try it out and tell for themselves how much they loved it.
It's definitely going to be useful. The city's buildings are higher than anything we have done before, improving its verticality. Players will need to find a way to reach those tall skyscrapers and other challenging spots too.
Then it's good we scattered some helpers around, like a paraglider, which can support players in both parkouring and combat.
Exactly, and it's gonna do great, especially in fights against humans, which are more frequent and important than in Dying Light 1. It's been over 20 years since the events from the first game, so people adjusted. They are much bolder now, at least during the day.
And they are more vicious too.
And I think that's a great summary of this discussion. Pre-order Dying Light 2 and explore its vast
I will wait and
complex
see what the
world on
reviews say.
December
I'm not
7th.
going to pre-order that one.
Thanks, David.
Thank you.
All right, there we go. The bad thing about that game is the fact that
For
it's
the
coming
first
out in
time
December.
in the storied history of the franchise, Microsoft Flight Simulator launched on a home console with the release on Xbox Series X and S last month. Reviewers and gamers alike were blown away by how well the stunning visuals and the depth of the simulation translated to the console, and that's why I'm extremely honored to welcome the head of Microsoft Flight Simulator, York Newman, to the stream. York, thank you for being here.
That game is very, very
The
cool.
last time we met was at the Xbox Game Showcase, and it was getting ready to come out on consoles. How did that go?
It went great. As you said, the reaction to the Xbox console launch was really just amazing. Both from Xbox gamers and from the press, they've been so gracious with their feedback.
I want
don't
like
know
a
if you
flight
know,
jacket.
but the Flight Simulator is one of the highest rated games on Xbox this year, which I think is just great validation that the translation of the simulation to the console has really worked well. Our usage numbers are through the roof. We are absolutely shattering franchise records, and I can tell you, there have never been more people playing Flight Simulator than right now. So it's an awesome time.
That is awesome. Congratulations on the launch, really. But
All right.
Got to put on his Danger
I
Zone
want to go
glasses.
to the danger zone. So what's going on with Top Gun?
There's so much going on, Paris. So you and I talked about Top Gun Maverick earlier. The fans are super excited. They saw the FA-18. They can't wait to start flying. And as you know, it comes out later this year as free DLC alongside the movie. But as the movie is still under wraps, so are we. So I can still not tell you that much about it. But there's so much else going on even before Maverick. So we are continuing to do our monthly big releases that we've been doing for a long time. And next month, on September 7th, we are launching World Update 6. And this world update, I mean, at the beginning of the show, if you remember, there was a little red plane flying into Cologne. Well, we did that because World Update 6 updates that region, the region of Gamescom. So Germany, Austria, and Switzerland.
That's cool.
And what that means to us
They're
is
slowly
we have
doing new
aerial
scans
and
of like
satellite images. We have a new elevation
Earth
map that helps us with the mountains. So the Alps actually look awesome now. We have new 3D cities like Frankfurt and Wuppertal in Germany.
That looks
we have
really
Basel
nice.
in Switzerland. We have Vienna and Graz in Austria, and those cities look just amazing. They have like 7 centimeters resolution, and it's awesome. But we want to celebrate the entire region, so we picked 100 of the most scenic places, the most famous landmarks, and we call those POIs, and we sort of spread them throughout the simulation, and we also added airports. We did Lübeck and Stuttgart in Germany, and Klagenfurt in Austria, and St. Gallen in Switzerland. And what it ties it all together is missions. We're having new discovery flights, we have new landing challenges, and we have new sort of tours of the country. So they fly you around all the awesome looking places and really celebrate the beauty of this region
When I
of
stream
Earth.
Flight Sim, do you
And
guys like that?
This is a celebration
Nay?
of DACH, of Germany, Austria, and Switzerland. I'm so happy to be able to announce the date here at Gamescom.
You know, that is really incredible, all the different regions and everything that you're going to have in the game, and the
Definitely
way
like to
that you're
stream
going to
it
be
more.
able to actually highlight those.
It's just like
I think it's
so
really
chill,
cool.
though.
But you know, for us, it's actually not just the region and the visuals. We talked a lot when you study aviation, when you love aviation like we do. You actually realize that a lot of regions of Earth have a very special relationship with flying, with aviation. Sometimes it's, you know, the first experiments with aircraft, or a famous pilot, or a feat of aviation, or like a local manufacturer. So we thought to ourselves, why do we not use these world updates to celebrate the planes? So we are announcing a new series. We call them Local Legends. And think about that as planes that are locally well known, like in that region, but outside in the world, not so much. But why not use the world updates to highlight this, to bring these awesome machines to a worldwide audience? So for World Update 6, we picked a German plane from the 1930s. It's called Junkers U-52. In Germany, it's lovingly named Tante U, so Aunt U. And we think of us as sort of a digital preservation. So we really want to get these planes to an extreme level of detail. We're going out of our way to really go deep. So we're doing a full scan. We're taking full scans of the outside and the inside,
Temple of
as
Doom.
detailed as 1 millimeter, which
Indiana
is as good
Jones.
as you can really do this. And then we're working with, for the Junkers, we work with Bernd Junkers,
And those are like
who is the
early
grandson of the original creator
like
of the plane, Hugo
passenger
Junkers.
planes.
And he's helping us. He had a ton of insight and materials. Then we worked with an organization that is preserving one of the last surviving examples of the Junkers. So they let us scan and take photographs. And then we were lucky that to find a pilot that actually flew one of those planes while it was still flying in the real world.
That's cool.
And he lets us know, like, is the cockpit right and the sounds right? Does it feel right in the air?
It's cool they're putting that much detail into it.
So we're having a blast working with these experts to really bring these, to celebrate this plane, to bring them back to life.
So this is almost like you're creating like a digital museum for aviation inside Microsoft Flight Simulator.
Yeah, I mean, it's basically that. It's a museum with flyable planes. So we're working with 40 museums around the world. And it's honestly one of the funnest parts of the job. You end up working with these curators of planes. These are their babies. And they sort of see the tooth of time in the real world sort of nagging on their remaining planes. And they're so happy when we come in with our scanning equipment and we're basically capturing their planes. And they know that we can digitally preserve them in perpetuity. And we're actually giving those scans back to the museum so they can do something with it. And it's a great collaboration. And we're actually not just looking back in the history of aviation, we're also looking towards the future. So I have another announcement. We are working with a fascinating German company called Volocopter.
Yeah.
And they're making an eVTOL air taxi for urban traffic.
What?
So they have a vision of the
that's
future,
cool.
how these drone-type machines basically connect people in large cities. We're working directly with the engineering team to make sure that we are capturing their plane and their aircraft perfectly in the flight simulator, and that's coming out.
Can I buy one of those in real life?
I mean, you weren't kidding when you're saying that there's a lot going on inside of Microsoft Flight Simulator. Is there anything else you want to share?
Yeah, there's one more thing.
Yeah.
I'm so happy to announce that we've partnered with RARA. That's the Reno Air Racing Association. And every year they put on something called the Steel National Championship Air Race. and we're bringing this to Flight Simulator. So this is the fastest motorsport. This is right down your alley. It's the fastest motorsport on Earth, and I actually brought you a little trailer to look at.
So race, speed.
Plane races.
We go into the danger zone, baby. Let's go ahead and show that.
This trailer's kind of loud. Oh, cool. They're doing a lot to Flight Sim.
You know I like going fast, and you know I love being in the danger zone. When is this coming out?
Man, these planes, they fly 500 miles, faster than 500 miles an hour, 50 to 250 feet above the ground. So you are definitely going to be in the danger zone. I mean, without going into too much detail,
Another fall
this
2021
Reno Air Race
release.
is actually the largest expansion we have since we launched on Flight Simulator. It's not just because we scanned all the famous race planes of the world. There's lots of them. This is also the first time when you can basically race against your friends and pilots across the planet. And so a competitive multiplayer is coming to Microsoft Flight Simulator.
Nice.
And that will definitely test your pilot skills. And you ask, when is it coming out? This is coming out this fall, so it's right around the corner.
Oh, that is fantastic. And you know I have the need for speed, so I can't wait to get my hands on this and participate in some of these air races.
Awesome, man. We got you covered.
Yeah, all right, thank you. If going fast on the ground is more your speed, keep an eye out for an extended look at Forza Horizon 5 later on in the stream. We'll also talk with Wasteland 3's game director about the game's next big DLC. But first, if you're an Xbox Game Pass subscriber, we have some great news for you.
Even more games.
Here I come.
Bring in the humble
Build
bumbles.
a weapon, one that blows the world away.
I might have to move my camera.
Build a rocket that'll come and take away us all. Gonna come back. I am coming back
Hold on.
in a day. Build a weapon that'll turn us into newborns again. Build a weapon, one that blows the world away.
Hold on, I'll do this.
Build a rocket that'll come and take away us all. Gonna come back, I am coming back in a day. Build a weapon that'll turn us
Signals.
into newborns again.
These are all basically indie games. Game Pass, you get all of them.
Yep, somehow they did it. They added even more games to Game Pass. But let's talk about what's coming up. We're talking Age of Empires 4, the game's
Yes,
creative director.
yes.
And we're going to see what's next for Sea of Thieves. But now, we've got a new roguelike retro shooter that, in grand retro fashion, sends you plundering through shifting dungeons to defeat a mysterious eldritch terror. Let's dive into the pit.
Now, this one I don't think I've heard of. Also on Game Pass, because everything's on Game Pass. Very retro feel to this. gonna turn it down just a little bit. Did it in. Playing day one on Xbox.
Well, I am here with creative director of World's Edge, Adam Eisgreen. And Adam, I'm so excited to talk H4, of course, because you've brought something a little different and very special today.
Yeah, I have. So, so far we've been showing everyone kind of what Age looks like from in the game, when you're playing it.
Yeah, pretty excited
You got to
about
see
this
a lot
game.
of footage of that.
It's been a
And
long
we've also
time.
shown a little bit of our campaigns, right, through when we unveiled the 100 Years' War and showed Joan of Arc. But we have yet another way in Age of Empires 4 that we're kind of bringing history to life that we haven't talked about yet.
See, you do this to me. You put me in suspense. I want to know more, so let's go with it. Let's hear more.
Okay, wait, you get 1 moment of suspense. Okay, that's enough. So what we brought today is we have these wonderful little videos that we've created that are interspersed amongst the campaign, and they're about 3 to 5 minutes each. And we have over an hour of them total, and they're called Hands-on Histories. And what they are is a great way to deep dive on certain fun subjects from the cultures we're representing and just from medieval history.
Excellent. Well, I hear you've actually brought one of those segments that you're going to share here for the very first time.
Yes, I have.
So I wonder if the campaign is fully voice acted.
The segment on
I think
one
well,
of
there's
the
like
most
multiple
popular
campaigns
units from Age of Empires franchise and a fan favorite, the Trebuchet.
Excellent. Well, this I got to see. Let's take a look.
A counterweight trebuchet was the king of all siege engines. A catapult capable of smashing down castle walls from great distances.
Just gotta build your stone better.
At Warwick Castle in England, they've built a replica, one of the largest in the world. Originating in 7th century China, by the 13th century, trebuchets had evolved into devastatingly powerful weapons.
Such a simple design, but so effective.
It has several key features. A pivoted arm with a weight at one end, and a sling to hold the projectile at the other. To prime, the 6-ton weight is raised using tread wheels.
So this is one of the wheels, one of 2 that's attached to an axle, which would lift the counterweight, weighing 6 tons. It's based on muscle power alone. What's essential about launching a projectile as far as possible is making sure that this end of the arm is moving as fast as possible. So once that weight drops, it really sends this point of the arm moving at its highest velocity.
This was done by positioning the pivot close to the counterweight and by launching the projectile from a sling. When released, the sling whips round, vastly increasing the launch speed. Trebuchets were carefully aimed.
Do it.
Like modern guns.
Take down the castle.
In order to weaken the castle walls or even breach them, you had to make sure that the projectiles hit the same spot every single time.
For each projectile to follow the same trajectory, they all had to be the same weight and shape. To achieve this, masons used a gauge.
Now I'm going to load this projectile into the sling. This
much
one
does that
must
weigh?
weigh about 25 kilograms, but some projectiles can get up to 150 kilograms. That's the weight of 2 men.
Trebuchets were also used to throw burning tar, beehives, even dead
the old
bodies.
beehive trick.
Anything to cause maximum distress to the enemy.
Classic.
Did you hear that whoosh?
It was the counterweight trebuchet's lethal combination of power and accuracy that made it the ultimate medieval siege weapon.
You know I'm going to say trebuchet. Don't care, because that is awesome and remarkably unique, something you don't see in games very often.
Yeah, so You know, one of the things when we were looking at what we were going to do with Age of Empires 4, there's a phrase I'm really fond of, which is history is only as interesting as the people who taught it to you. And you could say that about any subject, really, right? But I think the great thing is when you have someone that's so enthusiastic and passionate about history, it really comes across. And we wanted to be that kind of teacher for history. And there's a phrase called humanized history that I use to kind of describe what we tried to do, which is we tried to like connect past and present. And you can see that kind of in our briefings as well, where we've got like real stuff with like CG kind of overlaid to show you the history. And so for these, we really wanted to do that same thing. So ourselves and Relic partnered with this amazing group in the UK called Lion TV, and they've done production on an amazing amount of shows and documentaries for the BBC and won every award you can imagine for media. And they travel to all of these locations in all these different countries to meet with these subject matter experts and get all of this great footage on how things really worked and how things were made. And it's been delightful to kind of go through that process and, you know, get all these and finally start showing them to everyone.
I love it. Now, you also, of course, you've got a bunch, as you mentioned, of these hands-on.
That's another one of those
segments.
things where it's
Anything else
like
that you can tell us fans about.
It's pretty
what we can
crazy the
expect,
amount of
looking
detail
forward
they
to.
put
Any
into it.
favorites you got coming
And
up?
this is an RTS.
Oh, well, favorites. Oh, man.
It's like you don't really need that kind of
I
detail
think
for an
my
RTS,
personal
but they're doing it
favorite is
anyway.
one called Medieval Surgery. And I'm going to let your imagination go with what we might show and what we might talk about in that one.
Yeah.
But the thing I love about them is that they go all over the place. So, you know, we've got ones on warfare and castle building and like how they kept flaming arrows from not going out when you shot them. And but we've also got all these ones on, you know, like illuminated history and hawk falconing and, you know, like horse taming, armor creation. And there's even one on Mongolian instrumentation, which is really cool because those instruments, we actually use them in the soundtrack for the Mongols when you're playing as them in the campaign, in the game.
I mean, I just love the behemoth amount of history that you guys... Age of Empires, always known for bringing history alive in a completely different way. And I also love to mention this to people that you and the team do so much research. And it's so great to see this approach being used in a hands-on history kind of segment. But, I mean, what was that approach like to sort of, you know, sell going forward, especially since it's such a unique in-game experience?
Well, the cool thing was it was there from day one. It was one of the things I was really wanted to do is try to tell these stories in a different way. But I'll tell you, like full disclosure, it's been insanely nerve-wracking because we're trying something completely different that no one's ever done before in a game, right? We're we're history, but we're a game, but we're teaching you things, but you're having fun and
you're killing each other.
Has been really challenging. And you know, every time we've tried to show, we've shown the campaigns or we've shown these hands-on histories, I've been like, oh God, is it gonna work? Like, people gonna like this? And the great thing is so far, everyone that's really experienced the entire thing put together have just been like, wow, this is great. And it's so different and kind of cool and refreshing. So, so far so good, right? But yeah, it's been a journey, you know, to get all this done and put the whole game together.
Well, I love that you mentioned journey because we are coming towards the end of this development journey for Age 4. Talk to me about where people can find and learn more about Age of Empires 4. I know they're all chomping at the bit.
Oh, well, you know, October 28th, we are launching the game. You can go to ageofempires.com to learn more about the title. And if you're really, really excited, now you can go to the Microsoft Store or Steam, pre-order the game right now. And of course, we will be there day one, Xbox Game Pass for PC as well. So anyone that's on that can just grab the game and start playing.
No, I'll definitely be streaming some of
Yes, I believe you are a part of something very special.
Yes, so Gamescom opening night live.
Yes.
11 a.m. Pacific time. There might be something Age of Empires related in there, so if you're a fan,
so we'll see it again tomorrow.
Probably should tune in.
Oh, a bit of a tease from Mr. Ice Green.
Maybe.
And I like it very much. Adam, thank you so much for joining us here.
Always a pleasure, Kate.
Always a pleasure. Age of Empires 4 looks fantastic, so I cannot wait. October 28th, neither should you. Now, we have tons coming up here today, including a new update for State of Decay 2 and an extended look at Forza Horizon 5 with our friends at Playground Games. But now, let's catch up with Paris, who's gone from flying the skies in Microsoft Flight Sim to a different kind of cloud.
That's right, Kate. Xbox Cloud Gaming is already available on Windows PCs, mobile phones, and tablets. And now, it's coming to Xbox consoles. The future with cloud gaming sounds bright. No waiting to install, no running out of hard drive space, no waiting to patch.
So
no
cloud
buying
gaming
a new
is
console just to play with your friends.
Okay,
See
depending
how the
on your
vision of cloud
internet.
gaming will
I think
bring people
it still
together
needs
without
a bit
barriers.
more tweaking.
So when I think about cloud and when I think about gaming, those two things together to me really show you the future where you can pick up something and you can play it anywhere.
Let's
and
play
you can do
Hades.
it quickly.
Hey, wait a minute. That's almost like mine.
Cloud gaming is phenomenal.
This is pretty great. I mean, that's pretty awesome.
This actually looks so good.
Games are large and you want to keep the ones that you know you love on your hard drive. Xbox Cloud Gaming is about being able to discover the new ones right away. It's super exciting that for our Game Pass Ultimate members, they will get to experience Xbox Cloud Gaming on whatever console they have.
Cloud gaming is really about looking at how people play differently. I know me in particular, sometimes I just have 20 minutes.
It should be as easy as finding the game that you look for on your console and just jumping right in.
We're targeting 1080p at 60 frames per second.
What's crazy about this is like the latency. This is the kind of stuff you need with cloud gaming.
Yeah, that's 60 frames. That's actually very smooth.
Latency is everything.
The process itself to get into cloud gaming feels like you're playing on console, right? You go, you find the game you want, you press play.
It's so easy nowadays. You can pick up any device and pretty much play.
It's kind of crazy because Stadia was the one that really showed off the demo for that sort of thing, and Xbox is going to be the one that does it better than anybody.
Content just so much more accessible.
I really love the flexibility. It's awesome.
Everything that Xbox is doing right now is just getting rid of the limits of having to be on a specific platform or a specific console, play on PC and mobile, and now on Gen 8.
Yeah, Gen 8 consoles can play Gen 9 content. Isn't that so cool?
With cloud gaming, we have the ability, because you are connecting to consoles that are in our data centers, to allow the Gen 8 customers, the Xbox One customers, to play games that their hardware wouldn't have been able to play without it.
There's so much opportunity when it comes to thinking about how we can make content more readily available and let people play where they want to. Sign me up. I'm ready for cloud gaming right now. Let's do it. When's the release date? When does it release?
Yeah, when does it release? Actually, I think it's already out. Or maybe just the beta is out. Because I know one guy that's got it.
August 9th saw the release of the free optimized update for Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice.
Oh, here we go,
on the
chat.
Xbox Series S and X, with beautiful and rich visuals thanks to the addition of ray tracing and improved materials alongside performance updates.
This game was
is
my
the
game of the
perfect
year when it came out a couple years
opportunity
ago.
to relive Senua's journey or experience it for the first time. And if you haven't played this, do yourself a favor, grab a pair of headphones and immerse yourself into this
Best
world.
sound design ever.
Agreed. Speaking of unique experiences on Game Pass, the Xbox Plays team will be taking a look at some ID at Xbox titles over the next few days, including 12 Minutes and The Big Con.
Hey, we just beat that.
They're also talking with developers from Halo, the Master Chief Collection, Forza Horizon 5, and Destiny 2. So join
King's
the live
Bounty
Q&A
2, that came
to
out
get your burning
today,
questions
I
answered.
think.
You can catch
Oh,
all
there
of
was
those
also a big
streams
Destiny
on
thing today, chat.
twitch.tv/Xbox.
Speaking of Forza Horizon 5, don't forget our friends at Playground Games will give us an extended look at their monument to motoring in Mexico later on.
That includes never-before-seen areas of the game map, plus cars that have never been in the Forza franchise before. I've loved everything I've seen of Forza Horizon 5 so far, and I can't wait. Now, Kate, there's more games to check out, right?
Well, right you are, Paris. Let's talk Wasteland 3. Their newest DLC introduces us to a new cult. The Cult of the Holy Detonation.
I think this is a game that I would like. But it's like, I didn't play the first two, so I don't know.
Deep within Cheyenne Mountain, we've changed. Devolved into the mutations you see before you. Set on a righteous path. The Holy Detonation's life-giving glow should be shared with everyone. May the light of the Holy Detonation purify you. Join us, Rangers.
October 5th.
With new patches, bug fixes, and added features, like a fine wine, Wasteland 3 just gets better with age to really savor the game's bouquet. We're talking with inXile game director David Rogers. David, thank you for joining us.
I'm super stoked to be here. Thanks.
So in the trailer, we saw that the DLC is coming out on October 5th, but we know, inXile Wasteland 3, you guys have been working on this for a very long time. So can you kind of talk about that journey?
Yeah, our dev team has been working nonstop full tilt, trying to make Wasteland 3 the best version of itself it could be. Over the past year since it's released, we've added features, we've balanced, we've listened to the community, we've fixed bugs,
I mean,
added
it is on
stability,
Game Pass.
And I really
I
think
could try
that
it.
the version that we have now is the absolute best version of the game, and if you've never played it before, now's an awesome time to jump in.
Well, congratulations on everything that you've been doing with Wasteland 3. Now, this DLC is called The Cult of the Holy Detonation. Now, talk about that a little bit. Tell
does that
me
mean?
What's going to go into this DLC? What should we be excited about?
Right, so you've heard of Cheyenne Mountain, right?
Yes.
For those who haven't, Cheyenne Mountain is this top secret military complex buried deep in the heart of Cheyenne Mountain in the middle of Colorado. It's designed to outlast a nuclear winter. And so when you hit level 16, an old friend calls you and says, hey, I need your help securing this secret military base and all the secrets within. And as soon as you get there, you find two warring cults battling over supremacy, trying to take control of the Holy Detonation, which is this pre-war science experiment that they worship as a god.
Yeah.
And, these cultists are insane, they're mutated, they've gone totally mad, and all they want to do is share the holy radiation with you and your entire ranger team. How generous.
Yeah, that sounds a lot cooler than some of the cults I may have joined in the past, but this is typical Wasteland
I know you could do some really
fashion.
crazy
We're really
things in
gonna
that
be able
game,
to get in there
too.
and mix it up, right?
Right. So you and your ranger team insert yourself right smack dab in the middle of their holy war, which, what could go wrong?
Yeah.
And this is a Wasteland game, so you decide everything. Choice and consequence is our bread and butter. And so you decide who lives, who dies, who gets screwed over, who takes charge. You're deciding the fate of the cults, the Holy Detonation, Cheyenne Mountain, and ultimately all of Colorado. This is really your game to craft and mold.
That's awesome. So the last expansion was the Battle of Steeltown, right?
Yeah.
You had giant robots and things like that. So, what are you going to do to actually top something like that from the last expansion?
Right. So we wanted returning players to find something that they could never find in another version or in previous versions of Wasteland 3. And so we built this as a Wasteland-style dungeon crawl. And in there, you find this awesome mix of mystery, exploration. You're meeting these crazy cultists who have been locked in this pre-war time capsule, and some of the raddest boss battles we have ever been able to build in a Wasteland game.
That's awesome. I want to get back to the crazy cultists, but talk to me about these big boss battles. I want to hear more about that.
Right. So we took the best parts of Wasteland combat and we breathed new life into it with objective-based combat, which are basically super rad boss battles. It's no longer you're huddling in a corner, throwing down turrets, just going on murderous rampages. It's not about killing, it's about getting the job done. And so now combat doesn't end until the mission is
Very
over. We send you on proper combat missions. You're in there breaking into prisons, rescuing POWs. You're disrupting these high-tech cultist rituals. You are splitting your fire team and coordinating like you never have had to before. Everyone on your team has a job, and I really think this is going to take old players who know their ranger team like the back of their hands, and it's going to make them scratch their head and really have to rethink how they go about combat and making it new, exciting, and challenging mentally in a way we haven't been able to really do before with just straight up murder combat.
Now, Wasteland has a reputation for getting a little silly.
Right.
Just
what
a little
are
bit.
some of the weird characters we can expect in some of the story encounters we'll see in the game?
Yeah, with Cult of the Holy Detonation, we really got to cut our devs loose and just let them be creative and fun.
We also have
Like
Microsoft's
nXile's
money now.
Modus operandi.
They can do whatever they want.
If we're brainstorming and something makes us laugh, we just put it in the game. That's just how we do it, and we pick up the pieces afterwards. Because we want to make something that entertains us, and then we know if we're having fun, our fans are going to have fun along with us. And so we got to explore, really letting you get deep into this weird radiation cult and let you interact with them and talk with them and tell stories and maybe even join them.
Yeah.
And so for instance, one of the characters you meet, one of the first cultists you meet, is this slathering beast. He's got claws and fangs and spikes jutting out, and he's drooling, but he's the nicest guy in Cheyenne Mountain.
So what
you
you're
meet him
saying
and
is
he's
me in the morning.
Hey guys,
Got it.
you should
Gotcha.
come in here and soak up
Also,
some of these
like-
rads. It'll be great.
Yeah.
And he Sherpas you in and lets you meet the whole cult. And another one one of my favorites is the Proteus. He's what you get if you took like 20 cultists and you like melted them into a big pile, kind of like I would do this with like a magnifying glass. I would like melt like army guys and like GI Joes into a big pile.
What?
And he's wet and sloppy and gross and he's hard to understand and he needs a translator supposedly.
Burning ants out there?
But he's like your number one fan. And getting to build like this totally out there wild extreme character was a ton of fun to write for. It's a ton of fun to like explore like what makes this cult tick. And he's an absolute blast. Hell, even some of the weapons that you find in Cheyenne Mountain, they're devolved cultists. Like there's one guy and he kind of devolved into this like vomiting bagpipe creature and he has this real like kill me vibe about him. But we get to play with these fun body horror themes that let us jackknife
weird
between
gun.
sort of like dark and serious and like goofy and funny, which is a line that Wasteland really loves to ride. Like, you know, a lot of really important stuff is at stake, but you know, the Wasteland's a pretty bizarre place.
Oh, I can imagine. Now, we talked before, you've been working on Wasteland 3 for a while. There's already expansions that are out there. But say I'm a new player. Say I'm watching this right now and I'm like, man, I want to get into Wasteland 3. What would you suggest for new players wanting to get into this?
And like I said at the top, like Wasteland is like the best version of itself right now because of all the work we've put into it over the past year. And so you can get the whole thing with the Colorado collection. That's the base game plus Cult of the Holy Detonation and Battle of Steeltown, all for a discount. Or if you have Game Pass, you already have Wasteland 3. Just download it and play it. And then you can get both expansions with the expansion pass.
That is awesome. Now, to kind of recap this a little bit, we've talked about, you know, spewing
Surprised they just don't have the
bags
expansions
and
for
these
free on
weird
Game Pass.
characters and the cults and the boss battles and all these really cool things that are going to be in Wasteland 3. But please remind everyone before we get out of here, when can you pick up this DLC?
Right, this Work of Passion, it comes out on October 5th. We're really stoked.
That is
Everything's
awesome.
coming
So
out
this
in
is the
October
Cult
now.
Of the Holy
I wonder if
Detonation.
Halo is going to get announced for
Detonation
October.
coming October 5th. David, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks, Barish. Appreciate it.
All right. In the 3 years since its launch, Sea of Thieves has played host to some incredible crossovers, including unique ship
Another
sets
game that I need to
inspired
play.
by games like
Actually, I own it. I've
State of
never played
Decay,
it.
Halo, and more. Today, we're excited to
I think I
announce
got it on, like, a
brand
sale.
new special event that will award players an
Actually, I need to
all-new
find
ship
some people to,
as
like,
a part
sail
of
with
the
me.
latest wild crossover heading
Game
to
is
Sea
way
of
more fun
Thieves.
with people.
Better yet, this event begins tomorrow. So get ready to make some mayhem, and let's get our first look at this very special ship.
Oh, it's a Borderlands symbol. They got a crossover with Gearbox. Oh, there's Claptrap on the front. Uh-huh. Okay. Weird.
Guten Tag, everyone. Really cool to be a part of this all-digital Gamescom event. And we were thinking, what's the best way to kind of celebrate Gamescom and to be a part of this as Sea of Thieves? And so we're really excited to reveal that we're bringing the Mayhem ship set that you've just seen, a really, really cool ship that's inspired by Borderlands, into Sea of Thieves, and we're giving all of our players a chance to earn it during kind of the Gamescom time period. So it's been really cool to work with the Borderlands team to bring this ship to life, and giving all of our players the chance to earn it as part of this live event that we've cunningly titled Mayhem. You might notice the link. So you can probably guess the kind of activities that are involved, but if you head to Larina at any of the outposts in the Sea of Thieves world, she'll be able to fill you in on the details of what you need to go do to earn the ship set. So we hope everybody gets a chance to take part in this awesome time-limited event. So it starts today, and it runs through to September the 7th. So that's the time period you've got to get your hands on the Mayhem ship set. And I think that's it from me. So as always,
Too bad the
I will see you on
Claptrap
the
just
seas.
isn't somebody that's like on the ship. Actually, Claptrap would be like the captain. Just yelling at everybody. By the way, chat, tomorrow there are going to be New World drops for opening night live.
It's always been
Twitch
a
drops, I should
dangerous
say.
world in Trumbull Valley.
That was announced earlier today.
But now, it's hope that brings us back together.
Oh, this is
Every unites old friends. It builds new bonds. And in the face of a growing threat, hope is the greatest weapon we have.
State of Decay. That's what it is. Oh, this is all new stuff for State of Decay 2. Okay, I thought they were showing us State of Decay 3, which has already been announced.
Welcome back to Trumbull Valley.
Interesting. Might be worth checking out. Another game that I own and never played.
Just like zombies themselves, it seems everything old is new again in State of Decay 2. And we have a guest to walk us through this Undead update. Please join me in welcoming Undead Labs Director of Communications, Wanda Russell. Hello, Wanda, how are you?
Hello, I'm great. It's great to be here, talk about the Homecoming update releasing on September 1st. We are very excited to get this into players'
I need a leather
hands.
jacket,
You
chat.
are
Indeed. So let's talk
I don't
about
think
the
I'm cool
Homecoming
enough,
update.
though.
Obviously, we are coming back to Trumbull Valley. We were there for Heartland, the update, back in 2019. Talk to me about the differences, and I'll sit right here and listen, because you're adorable.
So Heartland is the story mode within the game, but it's a very linear, narrative-driven experience. You know, players couldn't move their communities there. So that's all changed with the Trumbull Valley map. It is the 5th core open world map. It's fully remastered, and it expands into 2 territories that were completely inaccessible in Heartland. So players can return to Trumbull Valley with their communities, start new communities there, and really start exploring everything that the new map has to offer.
So then, would Homecoming be a sequel then to Heartland?
Yeah, exactly right. So the events in Heartland kind of play out. You see what happens in Trumbull Valley. So we think of it as the 3rd part of our Trumbull saga that began with the original State of Decay game, continued into Heartland, and now we see what has happened
Wonder if
since
they ever
then
fixed the tethering
and what
issue.
storylines might be coming to a close. So there is a lot for players to discover, a lot of environmental storytelling to find, and you know, things have changed. So this isn't the Trumbull Valley that players might remember. So that's going to be exciting.
Interesting. Well, and anytime you expand something like Trumbull Valley, you just have to have a juggernaut of content, pun intended. Talk to me a little bit about what some of those things are that players can get in on here now in the expanded Trumbull Valley.
Yes, a ton of new content. In fact, we're doing something unique with the Trumbull Valley map. There are items there that you can only find on that map and nowhere else in the game, including 12 new hats and outfits, 10 new very cool weapons. We've got 6 new bases, 2 new achievements for achievement hunters. And on top of that, we are adding the game's 12th bounty pack. So that will be available from the bounty broker across all maps. And I have to say, they are some of the coolest weapons I have ever seen go into the game. I'm so excited for people to find them.
A juggernaut amount of content, and I don't care who sees that second pun of the day. That works out great. But let's talk about the State of Decay community, because it's absolutely an integral part to this entire franchise. And State of Decay being on Xbox Game Pass, how has that impacted the community? How has that impacted the game? Talk to me about those.
It's been fantastic. And, you know, we have an amazing community. We love them so much. In fact, one of the reasons we're doing Trumbull Valley as a map is because it was one of the most requested features from the community, which also makes it very exciting for us to be able to say, we did it, you get it. And we have a major milestone that we're celebrating. State of Decay 2 has 10 million lifetime players.
10 million lifetime hang your hat on that. I absolutely love that. That
Really
is
grateful.
Incredible, amazing news. Congratulations to you and the entire team at
Thank
Undead
you.
Labs, man. Fantastic work. Well, speaking of Xbox Game Pass, let's give me the deets one more time when it comes to the update.
So the update releases September 1st. It's a free update for all State of Decay 2 owners, and it's included with Xbox Game Pass. Happy homecoming.
I love it. Thank you, Wonder, very much.
My pleasure.
Now we move from Trumbull Valley to the Lost Valley of Akria. This mystical location trades zombies for ancient warrior clans, forgotten temples of long-dead god kings, and a healthy dose of hack and slash. All this awaits in Strayblade.
Strayblade? I don't think I know this one. Huh. Next year.
In Stray Blade, you discover the mystical lost valley of Akria, a world which ranges from overgrown temple ruins to frozen caves and winding canyons. A game world that changes based on your victories and plenty of dudes to stab in blade-to-blade combat. If that weren't enough, you even get a fuzzy little pal to help you out. Between the epic fights and this small guy, there's clearly a lot going on here. So let's hear more from Point Blank Games about Stray Blade.
Hello everybody, I'm Leonard Kausch, Game Director at Point Blank Games, and today I will show you Stray Blade. Stray Blade is an action RPG where you play a rogue adventurer who is exploring the ancient valley of Akria with his companion, a witty wolf named Boji. Unveil the history of the Forgotten Valley, master the powers of the 3 Akrian metals to restore balance to this war-torn land.
That is the how, as well as the why.
Combat and exploration are the 2 key elements of our game. Let's dive into the combat first. Our combat system merges strategic anticipation of enemy attacks with split-second blade-to-blade reactions.
Huh,
it is
that
the high
could
noon
actually
of
be really
skill-based
fun.
melee weapon combat. To achieve that, we put our hearts into creating.
By the way, you can tell that the
well-readable
bars
animations
are
and
alpha.
epic cinematic finishes. You can choose from multiple weapon categories that can be combined to fit your playstyle.
Interesting.
Now, let's take a look at the exploration. Akria's colorful world ranges from overgrown city ruins
Kind
to
of
frozen
reminds me
caves
of
and winding
Dauntless a little
canyons.
bit.
Together with your companion, explore the deepest corners of an ever-changing world.
Except for that's a
bristling with
Monster Hunter,
adventure.
and this is more like an
Every discovery
RPG.
holds treasure. Find rare materials, recipes, weapons, lore pieces, and beautiful places. Change is part of your journey, where every victory impacts the world around you. When you die, time keeps moving forward. Enemies killed stay dead. New foes invade camps that you weakened. And when Boji revives you, only one thing is certain. The change you brought shapes what now awaits you. And of course, get ready for epic boss fights. We hope you enjoyed the first look at Stray Blade, which will be out next year. And keep an eye on our social media channels for more information.
I will. 505 and Point Blank.
Next up, one of the most unique games finally comes to Xbox.
Yeah, unique. As in, my evil twin murdered 4 of my husbands because they secretly are in love with me. Unique.
Crusader Kings 3 is another one I want to go back and
In
play
case
more.
that didn't tip you off, we're talking about Crusader Kings 3, the medieval grand strategy and role-playing game that has you trying to defend your royal line from those that would conquer your kingdom.
I
evil
found that
twins,
game to be
apparently.
very hard.
Yeah. It's coming to Xbox as an adaptation, not a direct port, meaning that the UI and controls have
It's
been
like I tried to do
bring
one
that
thing,
grand strategy experience.
and then it just never would work. I would always
Not
just
to
get
mention
like
bringing
killed
the
or
grand
whatever.
strategy experience to my
I
comfy
don't know.
living room couch.
We'll all be ruling from our throne room soon enough. Check out Crusader Kings 3, now coming to Xbox consoles.
The snake in that baby's crib. That's how you do it, chat. Sometimes you just gotta
My
put a snake in there.
We must never forget the crimes committed against us. Your father sought his glorious
I remember one time I put a baby in prison.
and failed.
You can do that.
He never understood that the greatest wars are won with weddings, not warriors.
That's true.
With daggers, not swords. Only the small-minded measure success across the span of a single life. The real game is played across generations.
Yep.
You see, real
So
strategy.
you get married, and then you have a kid, and then when your character dies, you're then playing the kid. And then that kid gets married and has another kid, and then they die, and then you're playing the next kid, and it just spirals out of control.
Crusader Kings 3 is wild. You really haven't lived until you've made an 8-year-old the King of England.
Well, it's nice to have hobbies. We've all gotten into some weird stuff this past year.
Weird like diving into people's brains and exploring their mental universes projected into a psychedelic 60s
Psychonauts.
wonderland kind of weird?
Exactly.
This game
that
is
kind of
getting
weird,
amazing
which
reviews.
means I am so excited for Psychonauts to finally get a sequel. It has been so long.
Came out
There really is something
today,
special
maybe?
about Psychonauts, isn't it?
There really is indeed. Now, think about this. 2005, when Psychonauts originally came out, was a different time for gaming. Most of the biggest games that year, we're talking Resident Evil 4, Battlefield 2, Call of Duty 2. They were great games, for sure. But they were all big, beefy shooter games.
Meanwhile, Psychonauts had humor, whimsy, and surprisingly heartfelt moments. It was an oasis of color and humanity in an era when games were increasingly turning grimy, dark, and combative.
Not to mention having some deceptively deep character moments.
That's why the original is considered a cult classic.
It has been a long time coming, and it is finally here. Enjoy this long-awaited launch trailer for Psychonauts.
Yeah, again, I never played the first one.
This shouldn't take too long.
I've heard that you don't have to get into the second one. I guess it does like a story recap.
With psychic powers, he dives into your mind. My name is Raz, and I'm the new intern. And today is my
If you're
first
asking
day
about
on
the
job.
Xbox event, this is only like an hour and a half.
Did you forget everything I taught you about levitation, Rasputin?
I'm not supposed to check out equipment to interns.
Tomorrow is the big event, though.
What?
Opening night live. Tomorrow is 2 hours.
No. Quit picking on the new kid. We were all new once, in case you forgot.
And that's going to be at 1 o'clock p.m. Central, and so I'll have that live for you guys.
And I've got eyes on me.
All I see is another unruly peasant.
Oh boy.
When men do this fires, turns our world on its side.
It wouldn't be the first time the Psychonauts underestimated Maligula's power.
Leave it to me.
A lot of names there.
Well, it's clear I could not be more excited for Psychonauts 2 because I gotta be honest, me and that original game, we got some beef that needs settling. If you know, you know. The meat circus level, it is infamous, it is brutal, it is difficult to say the least. It's the final level of the original game that came out, and I cannot believe I'm doing the math on this one. 16 years ago, Tim Schafer and Lizette
Hey, it's
Petrie
Tim
Montgomery.
Schafer.
I am definitely dating myself, but you all welcome from Double Fine
Tim
Productions.
Schafer is a
Thank you
legend.
so much for being here. Tim, can you believe it has been 16 years? I almost said 19 years.
Yeah, it feels like only yesterday, but it kind of was for Raz because the story picks up right where the first game left off. And even though it has been a lot of years, it's a game that matters a lot to us. We really love it here at Double Fine, and we know that a lot of fans, it meant a lot to them. And so we really want to be true to the spirit of the first game, which we were able to do because we brought back a lot of the same voice actors, and we also have a lot of people on the team here that worked on the first game, as well as bringing on a bunch of new people like Lisette.
Thank you. It was really important for us to carry the legacy forward, especially the cool style of Wonk that is very prevalent in the first game.
Style of Wonk. Just put it on a shirt. I'm in there for it. Let's roll it back a bit. Of course, this can be a kind of a trippy idea if you're not familiar. Psychonauts, they still jump into people's minds, I'm assuming, like the first game, right? So if a Psychonaut sort of dove into my brain, it would be like a lot of Ted Lasso quotes and French Bulldog memes. Am I correct, Tim?
Yeah, that's what's fun about a Psychonauts game is that all the levels are different, just like every person is different, based on their personality. If you could jump into someone's mind, what would it look like in there? What would be the color of the sky, and like who would the monsters be? And,
You do not
in
want to be in
Psychonauts,
my
you get
mind,
to do that
chat.
because Raz has the power of astral
Not pretty in
projection.
there.
And when he goes in, he gets to fight those monsters and help people deal with their nightmares and wrestle with their inner demons. And so there's a ton of variety, and there's a lot of anything goes. We can go to any location, we can have any art style, and coming up with new levels for the second game was really fun to do.
Well, I loved it from the first game, certainly. Lizette, let's talk a little bit about how that kind of concept expresses itself in the game world. I mean, Psychonauts 2 has got it all over the place, I'm sure.
Yeah, it was really important for us to carry forward the unique brain worlds and unique levels from the
Hashtag
first
brain
game,
worlds.
and the unique style as well. So we're really focused on how we could bring forward that style in Wonk and also bring in new levels and enemies.
Now, of course, it wouldn't be Psychonauts without new mental demons, and I'm sure it's happening in Psychonauts 2. What does this mean? Does it mean basically is that we're finally able to slap COVID anxiety in the face?
Well, I don't know if you get to slap anxiety in your face, but you definitely get to slap some panic attacks, and COVID definitely caused a lot of those. In addition to panic attacks, some of our old enemies have also come back.
Tim Schafer was like,
sensors are our favorites, and
what?
they're definitely here. And in addition to that, we also have our doubts and some new enemies. There's our lovely sensor. Also, some regrets, some flying regrets. There are a ranged enemy, and they definitely are challenging. Our doubts are our slow, sticky melee enemy. You're also seeing our enabler here. He energizes our whole combat troop. So we have a whole cast that you can battle and fight with.
Including the new bad mood.
Including the bad mood.
Which is...
It's an electric storm of feelings that you have to fight.
Now, for those who haven't played the original, available now on Xbox Game Pass, by the way, wink. Tim, why is Raz so good at rummaging through brains?
Raz is, he has some very special skills. He has two whole sets of skills, one being the acrobatic skills he learned growing up in the circus. He can balance on tightropes, jump on trampolines, swing on trapezes, and that helps him navigate and get around to all kinds of interesting places. But he also has this other side to his personality, which is that he's a powerful psychic. So he can levitate objects, he can use telekinesis and pyrokinesis. He has these powers, which people might recognize from the first game, as well as 3 new powers for the second game. He has the ability to mentally connect thoughts together, and he can connect 2 thoughts and actually connect 2 thoughts together to solve puzzles and to navigate in this game. He has the power of time bubble, which is just change and slow down how things are moving by changing people's perception of time. And he also has the power of projection, which allows him to pull an archetype, a personality, out of his unconscious mind and bring it into the world that he's in, like a companion in battle or in puzzle solving.
Interesting.
But let's talk about the story for a second, because as the original Psychonauts, we saw Raz training to be part of an organization, and now perhaps he's part of a whole organization at this point. And are there other brain agents, other Psychonauts out there that maybe grew up in a completely different circus?
Yeah, we have a lot of new characters in this game.
We do. We have a lot of new characters in this game. As soon as Raz arrives on the headquarters, he immediately gets introduced to the interns. And the interns quickly tell him and show him how he fits into the organization.
The bottom.
They're right down
Right
at
at
the bottom.
Yeah, so earn his way back to the top again. He's no longer the coolest kid in summer camp. And much to his chagrin, his entire family, his entire embarrassing circus clothes wearing family comes to visit him in front of all his new friends. And so the interns find out that he's the awkward middle child of a circus family. Each one of them has their own quirks and foibles, and some of them are even psychic. And so a lot of their story gets told in this game, including their backstory and how it relates to the foundation of the Psychonauts themselves.
Well, I like that. And of course, as you might know already, I'm sold. But you, of course, already knew that. When can myself and the rest of the world
nice overlay right there.
exact some beefy, meaty revenge?
You can get back to the beef and play Psychonauts 2 on August 25th on Xbox Game Pass and PC.
There it is. Lizette, Tim from Double Fine, thank you so much. And you know what? Extend a huge congratulations to everyone at Double Fine on the launch of Psychonauts 2.
Thank you so much. We're very excited.
Thank you.
And you can catch more of Tim Schafer and ask him those burning questions about the newest game in the fan favorite franchise in our Xbox Play stream tomorrow. But first, we're going from cleaning out mental cobwebs to cleaning up alien planets in this supremely satisfying 4K 60 trailer for the gunk.
This one we've seen before. Trying to remember which one this is. But I recognize the name.
Pretty sure the ship's insurance won't cover alien storm damage. You have to be careful out there.
The gunk's eating everything here. This planet is literally a paradise when the gunk's gone.
So what you're saying is I should probably clean my room. Got it. This place looks like a paradise when all the gunk is gone.
Vex. Oh, please, Vex.
No date. Play it day one on Xbox Game Pass.
We have talked about so many incredible games today, and it's hard to pick a favorite, but let me just say, it is so cool that State of Decay 2 is expanding Trumbull Valley. Come on. And hey, you know what? Great job on that Flight Sim interview.
Oh, thank you. I mean, talking to Jorg is always a blast, and Flight Sim is such a special game to me because, I mean, it's literally letting me travel the world. But I was staring daggers of jealousy watching you talk to Tim and Lizette over at Double Fine.
Well, I will say this, I understand, but you got to play
So
Psychonauts
they're probably going to
already,
wrap
so
it
I
up
don't
with
even wanna
Forza Horizon.
That's true, but it's not the same as talking to the creators. Just trust me when I tell you, be excited for Psychonauts 2.
I will say this as well, I am excited to see even more of Psychonauts 2 on our Xbox Plays streams.
Yes, don't forget, Xbox Plays will recap all the week's news throughout the week at twitch.tv/Xbox, so make sure to check that out. Before Kate and I let Playground Games take the wheel, let me just say that it has been our distinct pleasure to chat games and nerd out with everyone today.
Oh, it's hands down the best part of the job, for sure.
But we're far from done here.
Too true. Now, in June, Playground Games announced that Forza Horizon 5, the highly anticipated follow-up to 2018's breakout hit open-world driving game Forza Horizon 4, arrives on November 9th on Xbox consoles, Xbox Game Pass for console, PC, and cloud, and of course, Steam.
And if you're watching our Xbox YouTube channel, switch over to our Xbox Twitch channel to see all this new exclusive content.
And that is twitch.tv/Xbox for the full vroom vroom experience. And if you're already watching on Twitch or one of the Forza channels, stay right where you are.
Without further ado, let's dive in, starting with the new custom Forza Horizon 5 controller, which is available for pre-order today, so players can have it in hand by November 9th when the standard edition of the game launches.
Let's see it. It's multicolored. Oh, it's see-through. Oh, except for like the this.
Charlie here, and I'm at Playground Games with Forza Horizon creative director Mike Brown and Forza Horizon art director Don Arcetta. Hello, everybody.
Hi, everyone. Hi, Charlie.
Hey, Charlie. Hello.
How cool is this?
That is stunning. Look at that. Well, we obviously just saw a really cool video about it, and I'll be the first to say there is an amazing influence of Mexican
Now
car
that I think
culture
about
and
it, it's
music
a weird
literally
design for a
splayed
car
right
game.
across the front, isn't that right?
Absolutely. It just feels like it's
a part of the Horizon Festival, like it's just dropped out of the game into your lap.
Absolutely.
Absolutely love it.
And there's so much we do want to show the fans, and it's been quite difficult to decide where to start. So can you maybe tell us a bit more about the game, Mike?
Sure, yeah. So Forza Horizon 5 is bringing the Horizon Festival's unique brand of fun and freedom to beautiful and vibrant Mexico. Players are going to set out across the largest, most diverse open world we've ever built in hundreds of the world's most beautiful and exciting cars.
Yeah, and people think that Mexico is just a desert or a beach, but there's so much
I'm definitely
going to
be trying this game.
That's right. Even though it does have pretty awesome beaches and a number of amazing deserts, it also has vast canyons, hidden temples, awesome, beautiful historic cities, and even a towering...
Yeah, we got to see this game at E3 several months ago, and it
So you've talked about how
amazing.
Forza Horizon 5 showcases powerful, all-new graphical features.
It'd be cool to see what they show today.
So yeah, our Mexican HDR sky captures really illuminate the world to the point where you feel like you're really there. And thanks to the Xbox Series X and S, ray tracing is utilized in Forza Vista to really make our cars look more true to real life. You'll encounter the smallest of details as you travel throughout the world, all rendered in striking realism.
Oh, that's such an exciting overview. I cannot wait. And next up is something we know that Forza Horizon fans have definitely been waiting for the most. Mike, what exactly is that?
Yeah, that's right. We are about to reveal the cover of Forza Horizon 5, featuring the incredible Mercedes AMG 1 and the 2021 Ford Bronco Badlands. Should we take a look?
Let's do it, yeah.
It's a cool car. You guys want to buy me one? If you could, that'd be awesome. Thanks. Get that Bronco out of here. Actually, funny enough, I was actually looking at a Jeep in real life. If that Jeep actually hit that car would like disintegrate.
Now, those are two very different ways to explore Mexico. So what I want to know is why those two cars were chosen and what players can expect when they get behind the wheel.
Yeah, so those differences are exactly why we chose them. The Mercedes AMG 1 marks the first time a car features Formula One hybrid technology almost one-to-one from track to the street. And with the 2021 Ford Bronco Badlands, that's primed for rugged off-roading across Mexico's vast terrain.
And I'm certain people can't wait to see more of what these cars can do in the game, so I don't think we should keep them waiting any longer. Mike, can you tell us about what we're about to see next?
Yes, so in a few moments' time, we'll be kicking off a Forza Horizon 5 Let's Go stream, and everybody should check that out for a big deep dive into loads of new content and features from Forza Horizon 5. But before that, we have 8 minutes of brand new gameplay where we're going to see both the Mercedes AMG 1 and the 2021 Ford Bronco Badlands. And in typical Horizon fashion, we are going to see active volcanoes, cars jumping out of cargo planes, and a race under beautiful Mexican skies.
Because, cars come out of planes all the time.
Should we check it out?
I think we should.
Why would they not? Drop it like it's hot. And then the car crashes into the side of the mountain and it's destroyed.
Bienvenidos a Mexico!
Here we take control of the 2021 Ford Bronco Badlands atop of the towering, snow-capped Gran Caldera volcano.
See you on the other side!
Now, over Twitch, I'm playing this in 4K, but over Twitch, it does get, downgraded a little bit. This visually looks, amazing. I don't know how it looks for you guys, but... And again, when we saw it in the spring, it looked amazing. I mean, car games generally, visually, just look incredible, but...
It might be traffic ahead. Watch out for that.
Yep. Broke the fence. Just watch. The next thing they do is they integrate Forza with Flight Sim into one game.
Drop zone approaching. Lovely day for a drive.
Look at that, like, sandstorm up there.
So now we see the 2020 Corvette Stingray tearing up the asphalt towards a dust storm in the Mexican farmland.
Outtrack the storm. No sigue adelante. Keep going.
Get this red car out of my way. Through the water.
Okay. There's no other way around. We've got to go through it.
Let's drive right into it. Wow, visibility reduction.
Okay, on my mark. 5, 4. 4 now, that's fine. This could get a little rough.
Lands on the flamingos, kills them all. Also, apparently this game is actually going to have like a campaign.
Touchdown! Not even a scratch. The jungle awaits.
Next up is the Porsche 911 Desert Flyer, crashing through the dense jungle tree canopy.
Flamingos!
This game's probably going to have a bunch of great music. Hopefully it'll have an option to disable the DMCA stuff. These roads would be so muddy and slick. You know, there's like so much happening. There's like other cars and planes.
I'll swing back round and guide you through the
This would be like the ultimate game of distractions. It's like you'd be driving like this and all of a sudden a plane like flies over and you look up at it and then the next thing you know you're like crashing into a wall.
¡Qué maravilla! You're not gonna believe your eyes when you see this. Keep going.
Now we're going to California.
This is the final drop. The whole festival is waiting. Go, go, go!
Gotta drag the ramp. There you go.
What do you say? First to the festival wins? Vámonos!
And on the final leg, we have the stunning Mercedes AMG 1 at full speed across Mexico's sun-baked rocky coast.
That's a really cool looking car.
Horizon, this
right now. If you've just arrived at Horizon Mexico, then you are in for a treat, my friend. Get ready for the biggest Horizon adventure of your life.
That guy's driving in the dirt.
Did you hear that? Well, that is the last inbound cargo flight racing neck and neck with an AMG-1.
Bunch of hot air balloons up on the left side. See, that's what I'm talking about. That thing flew in, and it makes you look up into the left. That game could be a lot of fun. Hey, that's it. All right, cool. So there you go, guys. That is the Xbox briefing from Gamescom 2021 day 1. Let me see if I can reverse the feed here, and I'm going to mute it and probably just briefly talk about a couple of things here. Let me see here. And as I said at the start, it was like 98% stuff that we had already known about. They didn't, you know, really announce anything new as far as I'm aware. There was a couple games in there that I had not seen, but I don't think there was any new announcements as far as at games, and everything was just all about, here's games we've already announced, and here's more stuff for them. All right, let me do that. All right, let me flip scenes here real quick, and we can just kind of go through this. So they started out with Dying Light 2. We've seen quite a bit on that. That game looks like it could be really interesting. The thing that really confuses me about Dying Light is you generally don't want to release a game in December for a couple reasons. One, if you release in December, then that essentially disqualifies you for any Game of the Year awards. And then just a lot of people, I don't want to say that they don't play games in December, but with most of the big games coming out in like September, October, November, it's kind of a fact that you send games to December to die. So I guess we'll see what happens here, but the big thing is that they're not going to be up for any awards. Because, like, the Jeff Keighley show, as an example, that show is, like, it's either the first week in December, usually. Like, the 6th or the 12th, or, like, somewhere, like, in there. So, I mean, and most of the major media outlets have all their Game of the Year stuff, like, ongoing at that point. So you just can't release a new game in December and then hope to be up for anything. But the game looks good. Hopefully it will be. All right. So after that, and we're just going to kind of jump around here a little bit. They talked about Microsoft Flight Sim. This is a game that was in my Game of the Year list for last year. It's a really cool, fun game. It's like the ultimate chill game for me. It's like you just, jump in a plane and just fly around. And it's cool that they're putting so much more into it. And it looks like they're going to probably support it for years and just keep making it better and better and better. So that's pretty cool. Yeah, they did a pretty long flight sim segment. I think the one game from this press conference that kind of surprised me the most was that Stray Blade. I don't know if I can find that here in the VOD or not. They did talk about Age of Empires. Again, that game continues to look really, really good. It's been a long time since we've had an Age of Empires. So it's cool that we're finally going to get a modern one. And on YouTube, they've been releasing videos every once in a while about that game. Yeah, Wasteland 3 DLC. I have not played any of those. I've heard really good things about the third one in particular. It's on Game Pass, so maybe I should just check it out. Because I do like XCOM and games that are similar to that. A little bit of a Sea of Thieves update. Basically just a crossover with Borderlands. So nothing too crazy there. This was State of Decay. They're actually updating 2. That's actually a surprise to me. Because they've already announced 3. I think they said 10 million players over the life cycle, but still, I don't think that game got that good reviews. So I don't know. It's kind of weird. Oh yeah, here was this Stray Blade. Let's see if I can back up the VOD here. But there's a lot of games that have almost this Dauntless-like art style. But this is third person. They actually called it an ARPG, and I don't know if I would call it an ARPG. That's definitely not what the standard definition is. It's more like a third-person hack and slash. So I'll have to keep an eye on that one. Maybe there'll be something that actually comes of that game. What else did we have here? We had Crusader Kings 3 coming to console. Psychonauts 2, like I said earlier, Psychonauts 2 is actually getting like really, really good reviews. So I don't know if I would even have the time to jump into that or not. I don't think it's like a very long game. The one really crazy thing, and I don't know how much you guys know about Tim Schafer or Double Fine, but they actually have like an incredible track record, especially in the old school department. They Tim Schafer and his different crews throughout the years made a lot of like classic games. But he has a bit of a reputation of somebody that doesn't know how to manage money. So he's incredible at game making, but he's not that good at running the business. And since Microsoft bought them out, he doesn't have to worry about the money thing anymore, and he can just make games. And I think that's one reason why Psychonauts 2 is getting such like incredible reviews. I've heard some people say that it's basically the best game that they've ever made. So good for them. What else do we have here? More Tim Schafer talk. And then that was it. Then they wrapped it up with Forza Horizon. So yeah, not a bad little conference, but it was more of a informational type conference rather than like, oh, new game, sort of rapid fire. I think the whole rapid fire, like game after game thing, we're going to see that tomorrow with opening night live. But yeah, not too bad. We got some pretty good information on games they'd already announced. So pretty cool stuff. But yeah, I think we'll wrap it up right there. So for those who are watching on YouTube, thank you all so much for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.